Hi there. Today I am reviewing a new category of gadgets for me, portable gaming consoles. Virtually, through reviews, I of course follow this market, Steam Deck, Switch, Republic of Gamers Ally. But in real life, the first one I got my hands on was the Lenovo Legion Go S in the Windows version. Therefore, I will try not only to review this particular device, but also to describe some nuances of using such devices as a beginner, the things that seasoned bloggers most likely take for granted. So, let us begin. This is not Lenovo's first dance, actually. There was already the Lenovo Legion Go console, into which they tried to cram everything, and even went a bit overboard. This year, they announced 3 devices at once, the flagship Legion Go 2 and 2 junior Legion Go S models, one running Windows and the other Steam operating system. So, I've got the junior one running Windows. A couple of words about the package contents. Inside the box, there's only the basic set, the handheld console itself, and the power adapter. The adapter is rated at 65 watts and comes with a non-detachable cable. If needed, it can easily be replaced with any other high-quality charger that supports that output power. Now, we can talk about the Legion Go S itself. The first thing that immediately caught my eye was, of course, its portability. If portable consoles used to be the size of today's smartphones, this Legion looks solid even next to my 16-inch Legion laptop. Roughly the size of a Steam Deck, but in a white case with black accents. The weight is around 740 grams. Surprisingly, this hefty device is comfortable to hold. Thanks to the bulky, complex-shaped grips, the Go S is clearly more ergonomic than its flatter relatives and competitors. The body is obviously plastic. As for how easily it gets dirty, it's still unclear whether the white or dark version will be better. In terms of durability, again, at first glance everything looks very good. The console is well built. Nothing creaks or wobbles when squeezed. The only spot where the body flexes slightly is the perforated panel for air intake. Let's return to the dimensions. I think the main reason for this size is the large screen, 8 inches, which is quite big for a handheld device. Everything else seems to have been built around it. It's an IPS panel with a resolution of 1920 by 1200 pixels. That means a 16 by 10 screen ratio. Then there's 10-point multi-touch, 500 nits of brightness, and a refresh rate of up to 120 Hz. Indoors, it's simply an excellent screen, even considering it's not OLED. Outdoors on a sunny day, it's not as fun. Although, considering the battery life, this isn't really a device meant for outdoor use. But more on that later. Beyond the screen, the entire body of the Go S is covered in controls and ports. On the front, there's a full gamepad setup, 2 sticks, a directional pad, 4 buttons labeled A, B, X, Y, plus 4 function buttons above the screen, a miniature touchpad for cursor control under the right stick, and speaker grills at the bottom. On the bottom edge, there's a slot for a micro SD memory card. On top, 2 bumpers, 2 triggers, plus 2 USB Type-C ports, a combined audio jack, volume control buttons, and a power button. On the back, there are 2 more buttons and trigger travel limiters. Now for the details. The USB ports are high-speed 4th generation. Both support data transfer, external monitor connection via DisplayPort, and charging through Power Delivery version 3.0. Some mini PC enthusiasts could connect mice, keyboards, and monitors through a USB hub and use this Legion as a full-fledged computer. Do some accounting or whip up slides in Microsoft PowerPoint. Briefly about the sound. The 2 2-watt speakers don't seem to aim for anything ambitious, but when you're holding the handheld device in your hands, at that distance they're more than sufficient in terms of volume and spatial effect. Not top tier, but the vibration feedback turned out to be quite good as well. Just in case, 2 microphones are hidden under the screen. Now, about the controls. I confess, my experience using gamepads in games is minimal. I'm a die-hard supporter of the keyboard and mouse combo. My fine motor skills and reflexes are clearly not enough for intense shootouts. Because of that, the very first firefight in Cyberpunk turned into a challenge. That's in the prologue, where you and Jackie have to rescue a girl's body from the gang and hand it over to the medics. But in Uncharted 4 and Horizon Zero Dawn, it was quite tolerable, probably because those games were originally designed for consoles. By the way, a question for the audience. If you play action games on consoles, share your first experience. How did you get started? I mean specifically moving and shooting with a gamepad. Let's continue. As I already mentioned, the Lenovo Legion Go S I'm reviewing comes with a full-fledged Windows 11 on board. There are 2 clear software differences compared to other computers. The first is the Legion Space application. It combines a game launcher for all major game stores and settings for the device itself. That said, no one forces you to launch games from here. You can do it by simply tapping icons on the desktop. The settings are split into two separate tabs: general ones, similar to those found in Lenovo's Vantage app for laptops, and control settings for the sticks, triggers, gyroscope, and of course, lighting. Yes, even here there's room for RGB lighting, at least around the sticks. The second software bonus, which genuinely improves convenience, is the side panel with several key settings. It's much better to call this up during gameplay than to open the entire Legion Space app. For example, you can quickly switch performance modes, preset or manual, change resolution and refresh rate, and finally, enable an overlay showing frame rate and other parameters. Now to hardware and performance. This year, Lenovo equipped its handhelds with AMD Ryzen Z 2 series processors, while the flagship Legion Go 2 gets the top-tier Ryzen Z 2 Extreme with 8 Zen 5 cores and RDNA 3.5 graphics. The Legion Go S received the entry-level Ryzen Z 2 Go. This chip features 4 Zen 3 Plus cores and integrated RDNA 2 graphics, a solution aimed at affordable entry-level portable computers. Paired with it are 32 GB of onboard memory and a 1 TB M2 storage drive. There are also versions on sale with less memory and storage, but I would advise against cutting corners. First, part of the memory is used as video memory. And second, storage is never enough these days, considering how large modern games are. Speaking of performance, it's worth starting with general computing power. This is still a full-fledged universal computer capable of running any Windows applications, not just games. So here are the single-threaded and multi-threaded processor test results from Cinebench, as well as performance scores from PC Mark 10. The Legion Go S doesn't turn into a super powerful computer. You shouldn't expect to do 3D animation or video editing on it. But for comfortable browsing and basic office applications, it's more than capable. I ran separate graphics card tests in 3D Mark, TimeSpy, Port Royal, and Steel Nomad. For game testing, I decided not to overcomplicate things by cycling through every possible combination of hardware modes and screen resolutions. I tested the games the way I would personally use the console, in productive mode. The processor is already the simplest in the series, and limiting it further just doesn't make sense. At native Full HD resolution, only the graphically lightweight games run adequately, something like Fallout Shelter. With modern AAA games, the algorithm is simple. Launch them in HD resolution, that is, 1280 by 800, with minimum graphics settings. Don't forget to activate Fidelity FX Super Resolution if the game supports it. If the resulting average frame rate unexpectedly exceeds 60 frames per second, you can start increasing the settings. My favorite game for testing is Cyberpunk 2077. It's high-tech and has been well polished over the years since release. For comfortable gameplay, it required HD resolution, the lowest settings, and Fidelity FX Super Resolution enabled. That setup delivered 40 to 50 frames per second. The visuals remained perfectly acceptable, no eye strain. In the wastelands at the start of the game as a nomad, the frame rate was an impressive 60 to 80 frames per second. The only issue for me was stick control, especially shooting. But that's purely my personal quirk. Horizon Zero Dawn also delivered a pleasing frame rate, averaging between 40 and 70 frames per second. The image felt a bit disjointed and grainy, but the controls were more comfortable than in Cyberpunk. The most enjoyable experience was Uncharted 4, 40 to 60 frames per second at high graphic settings. Plus, the controls are fully optimized for a gamepad. Nothing gets in the way. You just enjoy the adventure. The cooling system was a pleasant surprise. There doesn't seem to be much space for it, yet even during extended gameplay, I could only push the processor temperature up to 73 degrees Celsius. The fan noise was perfectly tolerable, not the howling you get from gaming laptops. And here's an unexpected twist during testing. This was the first Windows device I've personally encountered that doesn't automatically reduce power when unplugged and running on battery. Game performance remains unchanged. The Legion Go S features a capacious battery for a handheld device, 55.5 watt-hours. Its battery life is on par with other Windows-based devices. In a modern game like Cyberpunk, the battery lasts for about 1.5 hours. If you're not gaming and instead using the console in a typical office mode, it can survive for 4 to 6 hours. If you want a game on the go, a power bank is a must. No alternatives. Before wrapping up, let's fill in the remaining hardware blanks. These are features that don't quite fit into standard PC or laptop categories, but are important for a portable device. First, there's an ambient light sensor, so you can enable automatic screen brightness adjustment. Second, there's an accelerometer and gyroscope, which come in handy for control in certain games. And third, wireless communication. It supports Wi-Fi version 6E and Bluetooth version 5.3. Pricing and conclusions. At the time of recording, the Lenovo Legion Go S costs around $760 or 750 euros. And here it is, the verdict. The Legion Go S, like other handhelds, is a niche product. It's for those who want to play without sitting at a computer desk or in front of TV. For example, lounging on the couch, traveling, or sitting on the porcelain throne, and playing something more substantial than mobile grindfests. It falls short of Steam OS and Switch devices in terms of battery life, but it offers the versatility of a full-fledged computer, with the ability to install anything your heart desires. And in terms of gaming, there's an extra bonus: a whole world of emulators. It's also worth mentioning the Steam OS version of the Legion Go S. Although it's not officially available in my country, it's essentially the same Go S hardware, with the operating system from the Steam Deck. I can only judge from other reviews, but the console turned out to be genuinely interesting. By sacrificing versatility, it gains better battery life and higher frame rates in games. So there won't be a final verdict like, everyone should urgently buy this thing. It's like choosing between a sport utility vehicle and a sports car. Just as each type of car has its strengths, different handhelds on the market have their own nuances. Everyone should choose what suits them best. If you're looking for a console specifically on Windows, with all the pros and cons of a universal operating system, Lenovo has delivered a device that, while not perfect, is certainly compelling. With an excellent screen, ergonomic body, and solid build quality. That's been it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.